Electric car sales in China in April this year. Very interesting what's going on here in China, because there's obviously massive oversupply of electric cars, and not just electric cars, but also cars in general. The Chinese car market literally has millions of cars in oversupply. But some car brands are doing well and some are not. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Some of the best, most well-known car brands include NIO, Xpeng, BYD. Here's how many vehicles they sold in the month of April. Now, NIO is a very well-known car brand worldwide, but their car deliveries are still not that big. To be fair, if you look at NIO sales in, say, February this year, they were pretty staggeringly low, only about 8,000. But NIO have bounced back a little bit from that. They delivered 15,600 cars worldwide. That means that they're on track for what should be a better year this year than last year. NIO CEO, he says that NIO have their new Alps car brand, and they're going to have a Tesla Model Y competitor that will be cheaper than the Tesla Model Y, and it will be considerably better. But, you know, by the time that vehicle comes out, Tesla might have the new Juniper version available. So let's see what happens. Anyway, NIO delivered 15,600 cars in April. Now, it was pretty staggering growth. Versus April of last year, NIO delivered a lot more vehicles, 134% more. But April of last year was a pretty bad month for NIO. Moving on, Xpeng. Xpeng delivered 9,393 vehicles. I still don't understand what's going on in Xpeng. Their sales, no one really knows what's going on with them. Doesn't make sense. Their cars are very, very good. They're very cheap. Even maybe a little bit slightly better value in some cases than BYD. And Xpeng's, for example, their autopilot driver software, it's similar to Tesla's. It's much, much better than what BYD's is, but people don't really care in China for some reason. And Xpeng sales were pretty disappointing. They only delivered 9,393 vehicles worldwide. Keep in mind, Xpeng do sell cars in about 12 different European countries as well. So yeah, you know, for some reason, Xpeng sales are not that great, but Xpeng's probably not too worried at the moment because they have a massive cash influx that came from the Volkswagen Group, who purchased 5% of the company for around $800 million. So yeah, Xpeng at the moment, they are in a growth phase. The Volkswagen Group will use Xpeng's their older EV platform to make EVs for Volkswagen. So Xpeng to some degree will be a contract manufacturer for Volkswagen in China, and that's kind of kicking off over the next few months. Now, having a look at Xpeng, Xpeng did incredibly well in the final quarter of last year. We're looking at October, November, December. They delivered around 20,000 vehicles in each of those months, 3 months in a row, and all of a sudden Xpeng were doing really well. They were on the verge of bankruptcy approximately 6 months ago. They were looking at big problems in the company. They fired a whole lot of people, but you know, they've had a big turnaround now, and especially with Volkswagen Group coming in, they're doing fine. Now looking at car sales from Zeekr. Zeekr had their best month ever, and Zeekr is showing much more sustainable, consistent growth than NIO and Xpeng. If you have a look at Zeekr, they're a relatively new car company, but they're going to be an international car company. For example, Zeekr, I believe they're coming to Australia this year within the next few months. They're going to numerous countries worldwide. They're already on sale. Their vehicles are already on sale in more countries in Europe than Xpeng's vehicles are, even though they're a much newer car company. And Zeekr do have the benefit of being under the Geely car umbrella. They have Volvo, they've got Polestar. So they're a really, really strong brand. They've got some great product. The 001, I had someone come up to the other day and say, mate, when is the 00, at the gym actually, here I was at the gym and someone said, hey, Electric Viking, when's the Zeekr 001 coming? I really want to buy that. That's my favorite car. Anyhow, Zeekr deliveries were 16,089. That's 110% increase over April of 2023. Li Auto, they now have one EV for sale. Hasn't actually been selling that well, but they primarily have plug-in hybrids. Anyhow, their sales actually were down 11% from March, and they were up though versus last year. Sales actually grew by around 30% from the same month last year, but so far this year, Li Auto have delivered 106,000 vehicles, almost all of those in China. Li Auto are basically really just a Chinese car company at the moment. And that means they grew around 36% from the first 4 months of last year. Li Auto sells 25,787 deliveries in April. However, to give you some context on what Li Auto have actually been doing, Li Auto delivered more than 50,000 vehicles in December of last year, and they delivered more than 40,000 in October and November. So a bit of a drop off from those big months in the final quarter of last year. Now BYD, they delivered around 315,000 vehicles worldwide, which is good. It's better than what they did in March. Really good delivery numbers, actually, when you consider what they did last year. Sales are up around 30% versus last year for their electric cars. Unfortunately, well, there's some good news and some bad news for BYD. The good news is that BYD sold a record number of vehicles outside of China. BYD make a lot more profit. Well, they actually make a profit on the vehicles they sell outside of China. Inside of China, they pretty much break even on them now as of the last few months. So fortunately for BYD, they are diversifying more by selling more and more cars overseas. 14% of all cars that they sold in April were sold outside of China. That's huge. That's the biggest number for BYD ever. The downside is, unfortunately, BYD's percentage of vehicles that they sell has gone down when it comes to electrification. Their plug-in hybrids, now they're selling a lot more plug-in hybrids than EVs. Around 60% plug-in hybrid, 40% EV. It used to be the other way around. It used to be about 60% EV versus 40% plug-in hybrid. That'll be interesting to see how that goes for BYD in the future, just because of the reliability of the plug-in hybrids. They're nowhere near as reliable as BYD's EVs. And in my opinion, they're not really the future of the automotive industry. But anyway, a lot of people love them, and so they're selling really well for BYD. Finally, Xiaomi. Xiaomi, of course, they have apparently 88,000 firm locked-in orders. People have paid actual non-refundable deposits for 88,000 vehicles. That's massive. That's the biggest pre-order of any Chinese vehicle in history. Xiaomi apparently can build one car every single minute. I don't know how that's possible, but every minute they say they can build the SU7. This company, quite remarkable. Now, we'll have to wait and see, based on customer feedback on how well, whether or not these 88,000 buyers, I think there's around 90,000 by now actually, whether or not all these 90,000 buyers are happy with the cars. We don't really know yet. It's a completely new car brand. Generally with completely new car brands, you get some people who are just hyper bullish. We're seeing that with Fisker. Fisker Automotive have these people who, if I said anything that was potentially critical of Fisker, people were just so emotional. They were like, they wanted to kill me, literally, saying messages of saying really like mean and nasty stuff because I was so bullish on Fisker, so excited. Now those people are like just completely quiet. Just nothing to say. There's no like, sorry, yeah, some of your points on Fisker were actually accurate. Very emotional. So that's what we're seeing with Xiaomi. We're seeing some extremely like way over the top emotional people who are just saying Xiaomi cars are amazing. They've never driven them. They don't know what feedback's really like. They're just saying how brilliant and fantastic they are, which could turn out to be true. Could be. But I don't think there's ever been a car company in history, a new car company, that have brought out a brand new car, their first car ever, and it's been great, no bugs, no problems, just been brilliant. The SU7 could be that car. It could be it could be an anomaly. It could be the only car company in history that brings out a brand new car. There's no issues. It's brilliant as everyone thinks it's going to be. That's not very likely. Like, come on, let's be honest. Especially when you consider it's so incredibly cheap. It's such incredibly good value for what you get. Amazing value for money. That said, I do like Xiaomi's CEO. He's great. He's seeing some fantastic stuff. Xiaomi, their sales are going to keep on growing this year. This month, in April, they delivered 7,000 vehicles. I'm going to guess in the month of May, they're probably going to deliver around 20,000, which will be massive. I mean, this company could end up being one of the biggest car companies in the world within 10 years at the rate of growth that it appears is potentially going to happen. What do you think, guys? I mean, I'm still skeptical, to be honest, because I just think it's almost too much too soon. It's like too fast. But hey, you never know. This could help electrification worldwide. Hopefully it does. Guys, what do you think about Xiaomi? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.